This is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do an alcohol ink lift technique. We're going to use the stamp set Every Bit of Wonderful. This is the Operation Smile stamp set, and a portion of the price that you pay for this stamp set goes towards that charity. And I'm also going to use the heart thin cut from the Heart Shaker window set, and then also the Thanks thin cut die. So I'm going to be using alcohol inks, and to do this technique, you should use the alcohol inks and not the pearl. You'll also need some alcohol blending solution and some Yupo paper. This is a coated paper that's specifically for using with alcohol inks. And then I'm also going to use some of the black ore paper from Close to My Heart and some white daisy cardstock. So let's get started. I'm going to secure my Yupo paper to my Tim Holtz glass mat with removable tape runner. And then I'm just using alcohol. This is 90% rubbing alcohol. And I've just decanted it into a dropper, a repurposed dropper bottle. So I started with that to get my ink colors moving, and then I'm just dropping different colors down on my Yupo paper. So I'm just using some purples and some blues and a lighter version of the blue. And then I'm going to add some blending solution to get my inks moving. And this is specific to Tim Holtz. This is I can't remember what they call it. It's for it blows air to move your inks around, and it's pretty cool because then you don't have to use a straw, and it'll move your inks, and you have a lot more control. So I'm just going back and forth and dropping ink colors and blending solution, and I just keep blowing it around until I like what I see. I'm just going to move my inks around. You can keep doing this. The Yupo paper has a lot of forgiveness as far as, you can just keep layering your ink colors on. I am going rather heavy with my ink, just so that when I do the lift technique, you'll really be able to see it. So go a little bit heavier with your layers of alcohol inks, and just keep blowing around and moving my inks around until I like what I see. We're getting there. Okay, now make sure that your ink panel is completely dry, okay? So I've loaded a few of these floral images from Every Bit of Wonderful onto my block, and then I'm using some alcohol lift ink. I've also got a piece of white daisy set aside so that I can stamp the transferred ink onto that white daisy cardstock. So we'll get a 2-for-1. So just ink up your stamps and go direct to your alcohol inked panel, straight down, and then pull it straight up. And so there's ink on your stamp still, so use that and stamp it off onto a piece of white daisy cardstock. So you can make 2 cards, all right? So this is just paper towel, and I'm just dabbing the alcohol lift ink up, and it's pulling that alcohol color with it. So keep moving your paper towel around and pulling that color up, and then you can start buffing it out, and you'll see a ghosted image of your stamped floral image in that alcohol panel. It's very subtle, but in real life, it looks really cool. So okay, so I've brought my Big Shot in, and I'm going to cut my ink panel with the largest heart from that shaker die set. You can use any heart die that you have. This just happened to be a good size, so I pulled it, and it's still available. All of these supplies are part of the core catalog, except for the alcohol inks, of course, and the Yupo paper. So I cut my alcohol inked panel with the heart, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the white daisy cardstock panel that I did the transfer ink to. So I'm just going to line this up and run it on through. Okay, so now I can start making a card. All right, so I'm going to keep the design pretty simple. just so that you can see those bright colors with the alcohol inks. They're so pretty. So I'm using an A2 card base, and I've got a piece of black cardstock cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to lay that down on my card front, and then I have some white daisy, and that's cut at 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to lay that down on top. I'm using Tombow tape runner, and I'm leaving a border of black around it. So this is going to be a landscape card with the fold at the top. Now I've cut out my letters. This is from the Thanks die, and I'm not going to use the layer, the background layer. I'm just going to use the letters. So I've cut them out 3 times, twice with black cardstock and once with the black ore, and I have layered them and glued them all together just so that there's some substance to them and dimension to them. And then I've run them through my Xyron to make them sticky, so they're basically stickers. So I'm going to glue my heart to the front of my card using Tombow, and I just ran out, so I grabbed another, just using tape runner and gluing that down direct to my card front. And then I'm going to layer my letters on my card. So they're basically stickers, so I'm just sticking them to the front of the card. And if you've ever used a Xyron, you kind of get that webbing of adhesive between areas. So I'm just kind of poking it out and getting rid of it using my embossing tool there, just to kind of clean them up and get rid of that sticky, and just layering those letters on the front of my card. Okay, so now for the last step, we need some more bling. So I've got these crystals from PinkFresh Studios, and I'm going to scatter a whole bunch of those around my card front. I'm just going to add a drop of Tombow white glue to glue those down. So pretty. So that's my finished card. So I've got some close-up shots here. I just love those bright colors of the alcohol inks. They really pop. Trying to keep a lot of white space just to keep the effect there. Okay, so now we're going to use our other inked piece, and we're going to make another card. All right, so I've got an A2 card, and this one's going to be a side fold portrait style. So I'm going to stamp at the base on the base white daisy piece of cardstock using black ink, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment, "You make my heart happy," and I'm going to stamp that down at the bottom. And then we'll continue layering our card. So the first black piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then that white piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and then I'm going to layer a square of white daisy on another square on the front. So they're just, each one is cut a little bit smaller. So the black square is 3 3/4, and then the white is 3 1/2 square. So I've cut a heart with craft foam using that same heart die, but so that you can't see it, I just trimmed it out by hand just to make it a little bit smaller than the die cut, so that I can pop my heart. And I'm going to layer that on my square on the card there. So that whole heart is popped with craft foam. Okay, and then I'm going to scatter some more of those crystals from PinkFresh Studios around my card. Same way. All right, and there's my finished card. So much fun. So I've got some close-up shots here. So I'll make a list of all the supplies that I used with links in the description below. I appreciate you watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.